like, and I have like 78-ish. Yeah, it's a cool story. So, my name is Garrett Meyer. I am a sophomore here. I am a religious studies major, and I'm going to tell you about my testimony. So, I was born and raised in a Christian family. Love my mom and dad. They were Sunday school teachers, and they brought me up in the church, and I did everything. I went to Sunday school, I went to VBS, and went to everything that you can really do at a church as a kid. And at a really young age, I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. But I did it more out of my parents wanting me to, and me just knowing that's the right thing to do. And so, I knew who God was, but I really didn't know why He died for me. And growing up, I had a pretty normal life. I played sports, I had fun, I was a kid, I got dirty, but all eyes were on me. I only cared really about myself. And in 7th and 8th grade, I finally got to go to Woodlands Church Youth Group. And it was a lot of fun, and I got to learn more and more about God, but it's still just like this intellectual knowledge where I knew Him, I was getting to know Him more, and I knew now what He did for me and how big that was and how important that was, but it still just didn't click. I just didn't really know how important that really was in my life. And so my life continued as normal until my freshman year, and my parents split after my dad finding out about my mom's multiple affairs. And it just got to the point where my parents were fighting every night, and then one night my dad told my mom that the reason they got divorced was my fault and my brother's fault. And it just shattered me. It destroyed my self-worth, and just hearing how my father talked about me had warped my view of what a father is, what my father in heaven looked like. And so I just fell into a depression. I just would go to school and come home and lay in my bed until I went to bed, and then slept and came back and just repeated. But luckily, my church went to a conference, like Crew Winter Conference, which you guys should go to. It's in a couple months. It's really fun. And during the last night, they had an altar call, and they were talking about people that are Christians. We want you to recommit your life to Christ. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, I'm fine. I'm a Christian. I don't need to go back up there. My life is fine. And then I remember God speaking into my very being, just one word, and that word being go. And so I went up and I recommitted my life to Christ. But I was still living this, just had the foot in both worlds. I'd be, in Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, I'd be this really good Christian kid. I'd be a leader in the ministry. But then at school with my friends, I would be this kid that was vulgar and just, if you were to ask if I was a Christian, people would laugh. It was just bad. But then eventually, my junior year, I started dating a girl. And it started off good, but then we fell into sexual sin. And that became the basis of the very relationship itself. And eventually she got more involved in the youth group and understood that we shouldn't be doing that and started pulling away from it, but I wanted more. And so I went behind her back and I found someone who would satisfy that sexual sin. And then she found out, and then she broke up with me. And again, I was shattered again. I had my entire self-worth, all my identity was put into that relationship. And then I just didn't know what to do. And then the next weeks and months after, it was, we're together for a week, then not talking at all, then together for a week, and just my world's being flipped up and down and left and right, and I just didn't have any idea what to do. But the only thing, I was like, you know what, college is in the fall, I have 2 months, I can make it. And so I made it. And I was like, I have this fresh slate, but instead of having a fresh start, I'm like, I'm going to reconcile things with my ex-girlfriend. It worked for a couple months. But then again, I just got dropped again. And again, I was crushed. And so I went to the only thing that I know that could satisfy my self-worth, and that was going back to sexual sin. So I went and I had a lot of relationships with women where it was just purely physical, just to satisfy what I wanted. And then somewhere in that storm, I was involved in Crew, and I still had this foot in both worlds, where one, on Thursdays I was this good crew leader, and the others I was just this kid just wanting this attention, and the only way to satisfy is through sexual sin. And also, I had this feeling that I should go on summer mission. So I went to Perth, Australia, go Dockers. And eventually, towards the beginning of summer, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm just, like, doing this stuff. And, like, what would my small group think? What would, like, the crew leadership think? What would my friends think if I told them about all the sexual sin? So I just dropped it. I'm like, I'm going on mission, and I want to live for God. And so that's what I did. And guys, it was the most life-changing experience ever. God took this group of people and just loved on me so hard. I was able to just be there and just be myself, and I didn't have to live up to any expectation. I could just be who I wanted to be. I found my identity as a son of God, and it was amazing. And God changed my worldview of me thinking of a father that hates me. There was a father that actually loved me and cared for me so deeply. And so then I came back from Australia, and like things are great. I was on fire for Christ, and like things have been, this last year and a half have been great, but there's always been bumps in the road. I've had feelings of being inadequate and feeling that I'm not good enough. But then I always remember that summer in Australia, and I remember how much God used the community there. And He's using this community of crew and using my friends and my roommates and the discipleship of older males to show me that I am loved by God. And guys, God is so willing to meet you where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're perfect or you're struggling with sexual sin or struggling with something else. God will meet you where you're at. And just know that He is chasing after your heart more than you can even imagine. If my story resonated with you, I'll be in the back to talk about it. Please come talk to me about it. I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you very much.